Welcome to our Lunch and Learn webinar about student well-being and impact on learning that is provided to students in North Thurston Public Schools. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Deb Clemens, and I'm proud to be your superintendent. And joining me today are several staff members who are responsible for providing social emotional learning, counseling, and mental health services to students. I will begin by sharing some information about social emotional learning and other services that are provided by North Thurston Public Schools. And at the conclusion of this brief presentation, we will host a Q&A session. Throughout my presentation, feel free at any time to enter questions you may have into the Q&A box, and we will answer those questions after we conclude the presentation. All questions will be compiled into a frequently asked questions document, and we will post it on our website. In addition, everyone in attendance today will receive a copy of this presentation, which includes links to many of the resources that I'm sharing with you that are on our website. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me for reading the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that North Thurston Public Schools resides on the traditional lands of the Nisqually people. The Nisqually have lived on and cared for this land and these waterways since time immemorial. We make this acknowledgement to open a space of recognition, inclusion, and respect for our sovereign tribal partners and all Indigenous students, families, and staff in our community. Positive Behavior Interventions and Support Framework is a school-wide program referred to as PBIS, and it has long been established in our schools. In each school, a team identifies the 3 to 5 positive traits we expect of students, and then we identify specific behavior examples for students to demonstrate while at school. An example of a trait is to be safe, and a behavior that we would teach students to demonstrate safety is to walk in the hallway with hands by your side. Throughout the school, we use common language to teach these positive behaviors, and we reteach them to students when needed, such as when we return from a school break. We reinforce and we reward students for positive behaviors. We collect our data and we use it for decision-making. PBIS is foundational to all of our social emotional learning work that we have in North Thurston Public Schools. In our schools, we provide instruction on social emotional learning standards in grades kindergarten through 12. In grades K-5, our board-approved curriculum is titled Second Step. Second Step is a social emotional learning program that teaches various social and emotional skills, such as emotion recognition and management, empathy, problem solving, bullying prevention, and goal setting. The SEL instruction happens daily during a student's regular class taught by their teacher in grades kindergarten through 5th. And in most classrooms, the day begins with a classroom community circle and a social emotional learning lesson. In grades 6 through 12, our board-approved curriculum is titled Character Strong. Character Strong is a social emotional learning program that provides students with a foundation for positive and safe learning and success in school and life. And it focuses on clear communication, responsible decision-making, practical problem solving, and relationship building. At the middle and high school level, instruction happens as scheduled during the advisory period. The advisory period is also used for other purposes, such as academic progress monitoring and career planning. Therefore, instruction on social emotional learning doesn't happen every day. In a typical school year spanning 36 weeks, students receive at least 25 Character Strong social emotional learning lessons. In addition, at the middle level, we have a bullying prevention curriculum that is Second Steps, and it's also taught during advisory. During the 2021-2022 school year, we began using the Devereux Student Strengths Assessment called DESA. It's a widely used strengths-based behavioral rating scale that is nationally normed for K-12, and it assesses 8 social and emotional competencies and is intended to help educators plan instruction, document students' strengths and areas of need, inform progress monitoring, and evaluate our program outcomes. This assessment is administered by the classroom teacher and can easily be completed in 5 to 7 minutes. The results provide educators with excellent information on these 8 skills that are measured by DESA. Our students benefit from trained and certified school counselors, able to provide counseling interventions on classroom performance and to offer expertise in the selection and preparation for post-high school education, training, and/or employment. Areas of focus by our counselors include assisting students with addressing attitudes towards school, peer relationships, family transitions, test taking and study skills, career and educational planning, decision-making, and coping skills. Our school counselors are trained to provide mental, emotional, social, developmental, and behavioral supports to students. They assist students and families to overcome personal problems, cope with disabilities, or seek additional resources. It's important to know that our counselors are key to referring students for additional services such as mental health counseling or drug and alcohol counseling. We have mental health specialists assigned to each of our schools. We have a commitment to destigmatize the need for mental health services, and the poster on this slide is displayed in our middle and high schools. We regularly encourage our students to let us know when they are not feeling okay. Our mental health specialists provide individualized mental health support and crisis intervention to students referred by the school counselor. They also provide prevention education on mental health. They facilitate small therapeutic groups. They work one-on-one with students in need of short-term mental health support, and they connect students and families to community resources. We also are doing our best to make sure that our students and families know that they can dial 988 to access the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at any time, 24/7. We contract with ESD 113 to provide drug and alcohol counseling and prevention services to students on site, and this program is titled True North. True North helps students make the connection between risky behaviors and negative outcomes. The services they provide include screening and assessment, intervention, referral, education, individual and family counseling, as well as support groups. Students are matched with the appropriate service level after a formal screening and assessment. The military and family life counselors are able to provide services to our active duty or newly retired military families at many of our schools. MFLACs provide short-term, non-medical problem-solving counseling and support to assist children and youth, parents, family members, and school staff. Except for duty to warn, these services are strictly confidential and are not affiliated with any one branch of military service. So some topics that are addressed may include school adjustment, separation and reunion adjustments, daily life issues, and behavioral concerns. Parents will need to sign and return an MFLAC form for students to opt in or out of MFLAC services. We also have a Family and Youth Resource Center. This center is a place for North Thurston Public Schools families and students in need to find help and other resources. We're located at the Raj Manhas Activity Center at 200 Sleater-Kinney Road. The Family and Youth Resource Center is a one-stop destination for services and supplies. Many of these supplies are donated by members of our community, include things like hygiene supplies and laundry supplies and access to laundry services, food, school supplies, and clothing. It's also where we provide support to intake our students who are experiencing homelessness. And we partner with many community organizations to provide on-site services to students and families, such as the Community Action Council, Community Youth Services, the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, Family Education Support Services, Family Support Center, Healthcare Authority, CMAR, and CIELO. We also provide support to families in Washington's foster care program. I will now turn the program over to our Executive Director of Student Achievement, Sarah Rich, to introduce our panelists and begin to facilitate the question and answer portion of our webinar.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. As Superintendent Clemens just stated, I'm Sarah Rich. I serve as the Executive Director of Student Achievement here in North Thurston Public Schools. And I'm going to start by having our panelists introduce themselves. So I'll call on each of you and please share your name and your title. We'll start with Leslie.
I'm Leslie Van Lieshout. I'm the Director of Student Support.
Thanks, Leslie. Kirsten.
Hi there, I'm Kirsten Rue, the Director of Student Achievement.
Thanks, Kirsten. Basi.
Sorry about that. I am Basi Whipple. I work as a mental health specialist at Chinook Middle School in Mountain View Elementary.
Thanks, Basi. Just so you know, we don't have any video for you. So that might be something that you could troubleshoot while we move through the introductions. Mandy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mandy Garrison. I am a mental health specialist at North Thurston High School.
Thanks, Mandy. Brenda.
Hi, I'm Brenda McCafferty, McKinney-Vento and Foster Care Liaison.
Awesome, Brenda. Thank you. Sonia.
Hi, I'm Sonia Lundgren, elementary school counselor at Evergreen Forest Elementary.
Hi, Sonia. And last but not least, Katie.
Hello, I am Katie Vandenberg and I am a counselor at North Thurston High School.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. And Basi, your video is working now. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to start with, let's see, a first question that has come in. Leslie, could you tell us a little bit about where the Family and Youth Resource Center is and who you serve?
The Family and Youth Resource Center is located at 200 Slater-Kinney Road Northeast. It is the old Bally's, for those of you who've been around a while in the community. It's the parking lot is across the street from Jack in the Box. And so you can just drive right across and get into our parking lot. It is there for any student in their family in the district. We provide services to everyone. We emphasize, of course, our homeless and foster care families, but any student is welcome to come in.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leslie. This next question actually is also for you. Could you tell us a little bit about how parents could access the materials that are presented in class, including the videos, training, or any literature? And I think this question is about our social emotional learning curriculum.
Sure. The second step curriculum, which is our pre-K through 5th grade curriculum, is available in every classroom because it's paper pencil kind of thing. And so every teacher has access to it and any parent could come in and look at it at any time. The Character Strong curriculum is on the website, characterstrong.org. They will let you see sample lessons if you send in a thing, but you can't really see the lessons. However, I'm sure any advisor would be happy to show you the lesson that they are doing at the time. It's just not, because it's proprietary, it's not open to everyone. So there are family versions of things that people can look at, but not the exact lessons.
Thank you. And actually, you have the expertise on a number of questions that are coming in. So I'm going to stick with you for a minute, Leslie, if you don't mind. Could you talk a little bit about DESA testing and those results? And where does that live in the student record? Is it a permanent assessment that lives in a student's record? Maybe share a little bit more about how those DESA results are used.
Sure. The DESA is done in a third-party platform that we have secure access to with double authentication factoring. All of the data lives on there, and we transport it. This year, we're going to be transporting it into homeroom for counselors to be able to use when working with students and around the work we're doing in schools. But that data will not be student identifiable. It'll be large group, all of the 7th grade, that sort of thing. So it's very secure information, and the only people who can see it are the teacher who did the rating. The students in high school, they do student self-report, so they rate themselves. And so the student who rates themselves and anyone they email the results to through our email system, and also their principal and their counselor are site administrators and can see that, and myself and those who are program administrators can see it. And there's like 3 or 4 of us. So it's very secure and limited access when you're talking about identifiable information.
Thank you. And the next one is also for you, Leslie. So is it possible for parents to opt out of the CEL curriculum if what's being taught conflicts with values that a family holds?
I honestly don't know that we've had anyone attempt to opt out. It depends on the grade level that we're talking about. If you're talking about pre-K through 5th grade, that's done as a big class circle. Generally speaking, these are not curriculum that has to do with anything other than managing your emotions, being responsible, problem solving, bullying, that sort of thing. I guess if there was a real issue with a particular lesson, perhaps there could be another option for the student to go somewhere else, because it's about 20 to 30 minutes long in each elementary school day. In the high school and middle school, it's done as part of advisory, and certainly there could be an opt-out situation to go to a different advisory that isn't presenting the lesson, but it's part of what happens in advisory, along with high school and beyond planning and grade checks and academic performance concerns, those sorts of things.
Thank you. And then this might be the last one for you, Leslie. Could you talk to us about, are there mental health specialists at all elementary schools this year?
Yes, there are. There have been for several years. They are not there every day in elementary. They're there every day in high school. They're there 3 days a week in our comprehensive middle schools, and they are there 2 to 2.5 days a week in all of our elementary schools. So it just depends on factors and being able to make sure that they are able to serve their students at their school.
Great. Thank you, Leslie. I'm going to shift over to Kirsten for a question about what kind of supports are available for students who are in military connected families.
Sure. We have 2 dedicated military support team members. Their names are Adrian Perez and Stephanie Laux. Together, they support schools in establishing student ambassador clubs, as well as supporting our military students and their families with needed school supplies. We host a variety of events to ensure that our military connected families feel welcome and supported. Dr. Clemens spoke to the MFLACs, the Military and Family Life Counselors. That's what MFLAC stands for. We have MFLACs right now at 4 of our elementary schools: Olympic View, Horizons, Seven Oaks, and Evergreen Forest. And our MFLACs provide a variety of services and connections for students and families, military connected families. They help students and families deal with the stresses of PCSing, the permanent change of station that many of our military families experience. help support students as they adjust to a family member who has been deployed. So the separation and reunion adjustments that need to happen there, as well as just some of the unique things that happen in the daily life of a military connected family, and just being there for them and someone who knows and kind of understands those experiences. So as Dr. Clemens mentioned, there is an MFLAC form. If you would like your student to work with an MFLAC, you have to opt into receiving those services. And you can get that form through the school, through your counseling center, or by contacting either one of our military support team members, and their contact information is on our website.
Thank you, Kirsten. Appreciate that. Let's see. How about a question for Katie? When a student is behind on credits for high school graduation, what can we do about that?
Thanks, Sarah. I would say absolutely the very first thing to do would be that the student should make a good relationship with their counselor and get to know us and visit us often. And also we can meet with families to talk about what some of our credit deficient options are. So we have a few different options within the school building itself. We have some credit options for students that have jobs, if that aligns with what they're doing. So again, making an appointment to talk to a school counselor and finding what unique opportunity works best for that student and family.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. Let's see. How about, I'm going to ask Sonia to respond to this next question. Could you share a little bit more about what SEL looks like at the elementary level, just to kind of flesh that out a little bit?
Sure. We have SEL time scheduled into our academic day for grades kindergarten through 4. We do that right away at 8:30 in the morning in our building, 8:35 to 8:55. We do it a little later for 5th grade because they go to specialist. Every morning, our classes will circle up and they will share and learn various things about how to get along with one another. We do lessons on initially, or in the beginning of the year, we do a lot of discussion and learning about skills for learning, friendship skills, learning how to say hello to one another, how to get to know our classmates. We do some emotion management lessons, teaching different feelings. What do they look like? How do they feel? What can I do about those stronger feelings that are difficult for me to cope with? And then we do quite a bit around problem solving. And I wanted to add, if any parent had any questions or concerns about the SEL program, I would encourage them to reach out to their school counselor. I have access to all grade level curriculums, and I would be more than happy to sit down with any of our parents to show them what we're teaching.
Thank you, Sonia. Appreciate that. Let's see. The next question is going to be for Brenda. Could you talk to us about how many homeless students are in our community and what support we provide for students and families who are experiencing homelessness?
Sure. We currently have more than 500 students who are McKinney-Vento eligible. McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, it's a federal law that ensures that children and youth who are experiencing housing instability or homelessness are able to immediately enroll in school and actively participate. Students are McKinney-Vento eligible if they're living in a hotel or motel. They may be living in a shelter, campground, RV, or a vehicle. Maybe substandard housing where they don't have power, heat, or water. Or they may be doubled up sharing housing with another family or a friend due to an economic hardship. Our McKinney-Vento team assists those families with enrollment, setting up transportation, helping them access free breakfast and lunch, as well as connecting them to those outside resources. Our McKinney-Vento student navigators work directly with our unaccompanied high school students to help remove barriers, such as signing up for healthcare or food assistance programs, tutoring programs. There's an assortment of supports and resources that they can connect students with. We also partner, as Dr. Clemens had mentioned, with those outside agencies that come in and assist families here in our Family and Youth Resource Center. And they help with housing, medical insurance, supplemental nutrition assistance program, or the SNAP program. They can help them with childcare. There's a ton of resources that they can connect those families to. So the bottom line is for us is to remove those barriers so that students can be successful in school.
Thanks, Brenda. Appreciate that. There's a couple of related questions here about mental health concerns. So I'm actually going to ask Mandy and Basi to both respond to this. So the question is, what are the mental health supports in our schools? And if we need to access them, if my child is struggling, how do I connect with mental health supports? Basi, do you want to take it first, and then Mandy can add to the conversation? Great, thank you.
Sure. There are many resources available, but no one knows more about resources than our school counselors, and they do a great job connecting our students to whatever they might be in need of. They would contact either us or community resources. They will refer our student to, or their family members to, whatever they might be struggling with or in need of. So typically referrals come through our school counselors, and any parents that is wanting to or have concerns about their student can contact their school counselors, and their numbers and contact informations are on their school website.
Thanks, Basi. Mandy, do you want to add anything?
I just want to reiterate that the best point of contact are the school counselors. They know the students the best, and they do such a good job of connecting, whether it's within the school or outside of the school.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. We're going to go back to Leslie for this question. Where can I find resources outside the school district that could help my family?
Well, on our website, we have on the forward facing page, on the far right side is a little heart that says family resources. And when you click it, it opens to a website that has all the resources by category. So childcare, medical, housing, and you can go through, and it has up to date with links to all of those resources and phone numbers. It's a very helpful page for families to be able to look at to get resources outside of our district. But of course, sometimes you want to explain what it is that you really need. And so you would go to the counselor, and the counselor would be able to assist you with more specific needs that you might have. If their family is homeless or foster care, they can certainly call directly to our office and be able to get the resources that they need from us.
Thanks, Leslie. Let's see. Still with you, Leslie. Could you tell us a little bit more about resources available at the Fire Center and how families access those resources? You said a little bit earlier, but maybe share a little bit more information about that.
Sure. So first, I want to emphasize our community partners who come into the Fire Center. Families can call our number, which is 360-412-4484, and they can speak to the office professional, and they'll make an appointment with those individuals who are coming into our center. They can also make an appointment to visit the kids closet in which we have clothing, underwear, socks, shoes, and also school and hygiene supplies, blankets, many things that people might need, diapers, those kinds of things. And we're able to help families at the Fire Center for those kinds of things. In addition, that is where we would also, if need be, do an intake or resource the family individually, particularly in cases of domestic violence. It's very helpful sometimes for them they want to speak to someone, those people, those family members want to speak to someone, and we're happy to invite them in and talk to them and make sure they get the resources that they need.
Thank you, Leslie. Question. Let's actually have this question be for Sonia and also Katie from your various levels that you work in our system. Could you talk a little bit about specific support for BIPOC students and our LGBTQIA+ students here in the district? What are the opportunities for kids to get support and be involved? Sonia, do you want to start first from the elementary level?
Sure. Typically at the elementary level, we don't have the building-wide programs like they would at the middle school and elementary school level. We do have, counseling. Obviously, students can come to me if they're having a challenge. And also with our social emotional learning, during that time, we're really focusing on getting along with one another and problem solving. And so sometimes challenges will come up in that setting. And that we try to problem solve within the classroom. If we need to elevate it to either myself or the building principal, we make sure that we get on top of that rather quickly. As far as programs, like I'd mentioned earlier, that we don't have programs necessarily like middle school and high school, but we do an awful lot of highlighting and celebrating different cultures so that all of our students feel welcome. A really good example of that is that right now in September is Hispanic Heritage Month. And so we have a beautiful banner on display in our entrance recognizing Hispanic Heritage Month. As you walk through our building, we have a glass display in our library. And so our librarian has set up a number of different books in the display window, as well as some other artifacts celebrating Hispanic culture. And then when our students go to specialists for art and music, our art and music teachers also incorporate lessons into their music lessons and their art lessons. So we really work hard across the board to help all of our students feel welcome. And so not just for Hispanic Heritage Month, but we will do that for the remaining months of the year. And we just coincide with the calendar events of national recognition. So we really work hard to make all of our families feel welcome and our students feel welcome.
Thanks, Sonia. Katie, how about from a high school level?
Sure. So similar to Sonia and talking about at the elementary level, we do try to do some different things that are building wide. Last year, February, during our Black History Month, we had multiple advisory curriculum lessons that we did. And we also had our BSU students, our Black Student Union students, that led some different kind of like this lunch and learn and just table discussions with other students and staff members. And the thing that I think I see a lot is that we try to generate things that are a lot of student voice and student driven. So we have multiple clubs we had our club fair today during lunch and saw many different clubs like our Asian Pacific Islander Club and Multicultural Awareness Club, our Gay Straight Alliance. So we try to do things like that. And another program that I think is amazing that is a community partnership is Pizza Klatch. And so Pizza Klatch grown just exponentially in the time that I've been in our community. And now they come out so volunteers come out every Tuesday and have lunch with our students and bring pizza. And they do this to schools all over the county. And that is to support our LGBTQIA and as well as allies. And so that just trying to get our students and really trying to get their student voice about what issues they see that are happening within our school, and then addressing them by staff members, adults, as well as students coming together and really looking to seek solutions around things.
Thank you, Katie. Kirsten, this next question is for you. How would I report my students' absence if they're having a mental health day?
Absences around mental health can be called in just as most any other absence is called in. So just notify the school point of contact. Usually it's the attendance office professional. Let them know that your student needs to be absent today due to a mental health reason, and they will excuse the absence in our system. And it's just treated as an excused absence, any other excused absence.
Thanks, Kirsten. Leslie, you're up next. How can I donate to the Fire Center? What do you need right now? Are there specific items? And if we wanted to donate money or gift cards, how could we do that?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. We can always use donations. We depend on them. We don't use any funding within the district for the things that we give out. Our foundation and private and public and individual charity is what we depend on. That compassion is strong in our community. We have a specified time of Tuesdays between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m. that we take items in for donation. However, we are open from 7 to 3:30, and we are happy to take them anytime, but it's just easier. We have somebody back there and there's a roll-up door and we can just bring it out if you come in on Tuesdays between 7:30 and 9:30. We are always looking for school supplies and gently used or new clothes, particularly sweats and t-shirts and sweatshirts. We can always use new underwear and socks. We can use laundry detergent and those kinds of household kinds of things that people need to get their clothes clean and take care of themselves. And there's the opportunity to provide funds. Sometimes it's easier to write a check than it is to go to the store and buy stuff. Is that we have an account called the Hope Account. It's a private purpose fund. And while we have an amazing foundation, the North Thurston Education Foundation, who supports us so well at every school, and particularly at the Fire Center with our homeless families, you can donate to the North Thurston Ed Foundation, and you can give them gift cards. We are not allowed as a district to take gift cards in, but they are, because they are a 501c3. But our Hope Account, which you can donate to, you can take a check or funds into the finance office here at the district, and or mail it to the finance office and just put in the notation that it's for the Hope Account, and it will get in there. And that's how we will take care of things that the North Thurston Ed Foundation doesn't fund, which there are some, like a musical instrument or, you know, something like that, that they don't take care of. So if you have some things that you'd like to donate, we would be happy to have them. So thanks so much for asking me that.
Thanks, Leslie. Kirsten, this is a question. I'll start with you, and then if you want Leslie to jump in from the mental health side, certainly say so. The question is regarding mental health excused absences. Is there follow-up that happens afterwards with the family or the student?
Yeah, you know, on a single day's absence, if there's a need for a mental health absence, typically the school is not going to ask a lot of questions. But if the family wanted to request support, we definitely would refer that. We'd have our office professional refer that to the counselors so that we can get the family connected with mental health support. Likewise, if a pattern of absenteeism develops, and so a student is moving into at-risk or chronic absenteeism, then the school is likely to reach out proactively just to find out how we can support the family and the student in removing any barriers that might be in our control to help manage, to make the student, you know, feel more comfortable coming to school, find out if some of the source of the mental health concerns could be, you know, coming from someplace at school. We definitely want to get to the bottom of that. We're all about removing barriers to attendance. That's the goal.
Thanks, Kirsten. Leslie, did you want to add anything to that?
I would like to say that I'm so glad that the state has begun to see this as a qualifiable absence for an excused absence. And I am grateful that we have the opportunity to serve families, but we will take their lead. Just because you call in and say my child has a mental health absence doesn't mean that a mental health provider is going to call you. That's not going to happen. We're going to take your lead. So if you have concerns about the mental health of your child, you would want to speak to the counselor.
Thanks, Leslie. And that wraps up all of our questions. So Deb, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. So again, thank you to all of our families for joining us today. We have a large number of people tuning in. As I mentioned at the beginning, we will be sending the presentation that includes links to resources on our website out to everyone. So watch for that in your email. And then we're going to post this recording as well as the frequently asked questions on our website in a few days. So I want to give a special shout out to all of our panelists. Thank you, not only for sharing this information today, but for the wonderful care and support that you provide to all of the students that you serve on a daily basis. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.